Hello Wolfpack, we're analysing REN, that is the topic of analysis today. REN protocol, USD, we've got the daily, weekly and the Bitcoin pair, as well as some tokenomics. And Lunacrush up because Lunacrush has listed REN on the altcoin rank chart here as number 6 recently, and it's been, I've been keeping an eye on these charts because I keep an eye on them naturally to see what videos I want to do videos on, what coins I want to do videos on, and REN's been up there, quite high in the recent weeks and also in the recent months, and there are reasons for that, and its price has been very convincing, but I'm kind of answering the question now because, obviously it's made quite a move from what it was, a couple months ago here in July, and we can get on a chart here, we can have a look at that, we can see that, it made it quite a parabolic move at the start of the year, and it's a coin that hasn't seen, a real bull market until this point because it came out just after the 2018 bull market, and so it kind of missed the spotlight a little bit, and it was kind of slept on a lot during the bear market. We can see that it ran up from the bear market lows. We're just going to roughly guess around 5 cents here. Ran up quite well, 31, 32x, so pretty decent gain, and that gives people reason to actually trust in the coin. And then obviously we had this quite convincing cup formation where we just rounded out in those bottoms nicely. We had a nice little cup formation here, and we're yet to see a handle, and that's one of the things that's concerning me about about REN, is that we're yet to see a handle. And usually when you see a cup formation like that, you see a downwards channel in which the price sort of corrects downwards. Some of those buyers that got in at the bottoms here start to sell off their coins a little bit, and we start to see a little bit of a battle between the bulls and the bears, and then eventually that breaks to the upside, especially in bull markets. We're yet to see that happen, so I have to be cautious about that. I was calling for that on OMG the other day, but we did have that parabolic move upwards on Bitcoin that kind of negated that. I'm still a believer that we're still going to correct on OMG, don't get me wrong, but I think that it's just going to come a little bit later now, and that bullish move up on Bitcoin, everything pumped from that, regardless of what the market looked like. So that's not actually a, specific to your coin. If you've got a coin that ran up in the last few days, that doesn't mean your coin's doing well. It's just the market moving your coin, right? That's natural market movements. What we're looking for in altcoins, and what you should be looking for in altcoins, is coins that move abnormally individually from Bitcoin separately, so you can stack more Bitcoin in the long run, right? So you gain against Bitcoin, gain more than what Bitcoin is gaining, and then flip it into Bitcoin, and you've gained more Bitcoin naturally. That's the whole point of cryptocurrency investing, right? Unless you're a believer that you don't like Bitcoin, that's a different story. That's my kind of ideology. You don't have to agree with that. That's fine. If you want to just make fiat, that's your problem. But essentially what the thing is with REN here is, as I said, I'm expecting that handle formation, and we can kind of get into the tokenomics first before we actually look into this coin. I still think we're going to see, some great upside, and I do have some fractals to go over, and I do have some predictions to make. I still think it's going to be a good coin. I'm just saying that I don't think that, it's potentially not the right coin to pick up right now, because there's still coins on the ground, right? There's still coins with a lot more to gain than REN right now. It's already made, if we just measure from the lows in July, it's already made that move up, 300%, I think that, the more you wait here, the more you wait on REN, you're kind of missing the boat a little bit more. I think that if that handle formation comes, that might be the buying opportunity you're looking for. We correct 20, 30%. That's the buying opportunity we're going to be looking for to get into REN. But right now it's a little bit too overvalued. But let's just look at the tokenomics. Take a step back for a second. I've got a bit of ahead of myself. So we can see with REN, the reason why I like REN, I have invested in REN in the past. And the reason why I do like it is because it's got that full circulating supply. Every single, well, basically 99% of the REN that will ever exist, right? Basically all of the REN that will ever exist is in circulation right now. There's going to be no new additions, into circulation in terms of REN coins, and that means that there's no chance that the price will be inflated. We have problems with coins like the graph. We'll bring the graph up quickly. What we can see on the graph, if we get it up and we go on the all chart, we can see massive, differences between the price chart and the market cap chart as more coins actually come into circulation into the market, which kind of devalue the price of the coin, even though the same amount of money is still in the coin, right? So this downwards action in price action isn't actually because people are selling, right? It's because the coin is being devalued by coins coming into the market, right? And fresh coins being minted and putting into the circulation, right? So we can see that actually the graph should be at all-time high right now. It should be at actually double the all-time high. We had a 4 billion market cap back here. We have almost an 8 billion market cap now. So But what we can actually see is it's actually half of the all-time high. So you know what I mean, right? It's that we need the security from the tokenomics in order to invest, for more than a couple of weeks, right? The thing with the graph is, it might be good for investing for a couple of weeks because, at the end of the day, not much is going to change in a couple of weeks in the market, in terms of how many new coins put into circulation. But if you're investing for the long term, you're going to get absolutely wrecked, right? Because there's going to be so many new coins coming into circulation that no matter how many people buy the graph, and as you can see here, there's been a massive spike in buyers. No matter how many people buy it, it's going to really struggle to get back to its all-time highs. We don't have that problem with REN, right? And that's a great thing. It's a great thing to see. And, it's a great thing for the long-term holders. If you genuinely believe that REN is a solid product, it's got a solid use case, and it's going to be used and adopted in the future. If you genuinely believe that, I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying if you genuinely believe that, that's good. It's good to see that, you're not going to be losing value of your coins by any natural process, right? It's just going to be the market, right? It's just you against the market, which is great. You don't want any other third parties. That's why I don't like investing in coins. For the long term, at least, I don't mind swing trading anything, really. I think there's perfect time to just swing trade even Dogecoin, right? A Shiba coin. Everything is good to trade in certain circumstances, but you don't want to be long-term holding something that's being devalued, right? And that's nothing against any of those coins. They might have great use cases, but in terms of, an investment standpoint. So what we can see on REN is that happening right now, and we can bring up some support zones on REN so we can see what we have. If we just draw some boxes here, we have a very critical support zone that is from 16 cents up to where we scalped down in July at around 27 cents, right? That's a rough estimate. 16 cents to 27 cents, there is an absolutely critical support zone. We're not going to go there again, right? We're not going to go there again. We might go there again in the bear market. I don't think we're going to go there again for at least a few months. That's very, very low. For us to, go down there, that will constitute a 75% drop. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen with the current state of Bitcoin. I think we're going to be seeing a bullish Q4. That's my personal opinion. So we can get that out of the heads, but it is good to know where your support zones are. We can see we have more support. We get the horizontal line out. We have more support, most notably at around 69 cents. From which we saw the start of this kind of chop area here. We'll get into that in a second. We have one at 81 cents as well, which is an interesting support zone. And we have a variety of support zones over here that we won't list, but we do have a critical resistance zone at $1.41. So what we can actually see on REN is we have a massive range-bound construction area forming between 80 cents and $1.40. We'll make that orange just so we can get a little bit of a highlight as to where that is. And we've entered that range-bound construction area. All right, so now from this point, we can extrapolate what's going to happen with REN, right? What is most likely to happen with REN? And I don't like to speak in certainties, right? Because nothing is certain. Nothing is certain in this market. If a piece of news comes out tomorrow that says REN's going to be the legal tender for, a certain country, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it happens, that shows you that nothing's certain, right? The price will certainly pump. But what I'm saying, what is most likely for REN to happen, everything is a probability when you're speaking in investing terms, right? What is most likely to happen for REN is it's probably going to come up to this $1.40 support resistance area as Bitcoin, continues to push up. Bitcoin's going to correct down a little bit because it's had a bit of a parabolic move. Even if it doesn't, I think we're going to reject in the short term from this $1.40 resistance area. And we're going to come down again and bounce around in this range-bound construction. We don't have to go all the way down to 81 cents, right? We might even go down to 69 cents, right? But the point is, we'll stay around in this area for a while, bouncing around until something happens. What the most likely scenario in that scenario is, in my opinion, is we top up at around this $1.40 region and we enter the handle formation or the descending channel formation that we're meant to be seeing after a cup formation here, right? So I'm expecting us to go up to this $1.40 region and then enter this handle formation and bounce around a little bit before breaking upwards over that region. Okay, that's what I'm expecting. That would play into the idea that we have this range-bound construction area. It would also kind of finish up this pattern that we've been having where we've been having this massive cup formation. You usually see a handle after that, so that would make sense to me. So in the short term, I am expecting some corrections, right? And supporting that in terms of technicals, we do have a bearish divergence on the RSI, which is, one of the strongest indicators that you can use in investing in TA to kind of understand that a move is coming in a certain direction. Right now, it indicates that we're going to be moving downwards. It doesn't tell us when that's going to happen, but I'm speculating, as I said, when we reach that $1.40 region, we'll start to correct, right? That's my speculation. We can see also that we have some sort of very unnatural movements on the MACD. I mean, we've been in upwards, kind of moving upwards on the MACD since, 27th of May without any real dips downwards. It just doesn't look right? I think we'll see something like this, right? A drop down and then, a bullish cross that will send us over this support, over this resistance area at $1.40, two new all-time highs, right? That's my personal speculation for REN. I still think we're going to be seeing all-time highs, possibly towards maybe early November, right? That would be my speculation. Early November. I think October is going to be a bit of a choppy month. Early November, new all-time highs makes sense to me. And that's going to be triggering by a MACD cross on the daily chart. All right, we can see on the weekly chart for REN. And we could start getting some fractals here, right? So we can see a fractal on the weekly chart. And I'm not saying this fractal is going to play out, but it is kind of convincing, right? So we can see that we had a kind of pump up here on REN last year, right? 2020, early to late 2020. Sorry, mid to late 2020, we had a pump up that looks very similar to the actual pump up we had this year. And we saw a cup formation following that into a move upwards. We're seeing a cup formation into a move upwards right now. So what we can actually do is we can take the fractal from this time period and we can kind of try to apply it. It's not going to be the best, right? But fractals aren't meant to fit perfectly. We can roughly apply it to what's actually happening here and see that there's going to be a move upwards, right? There's going to be a move upwards, and it kind of lines up with what I said. I said new all-time highs by early November just a few minutes ago here, and this fractal suggests that we will be coming up to, not necessarily to the $1.40 region, but, as I said, fractals are pretty rough, but I still think the $1.40 region will be coming up there, rejecting off of it, and then booming upwards as we see, the rest of that cup formation play out. Because remember, guys, when you see two side-by-side cup formations like this, right, usually the one on the right goes a lot higher, especially in bull markets, especially with the current state of the market. So I am bullish on REN. What we can see on the Bitcoin pair, and we'll get into a price prediction later in the video, what we can see on a Bitcoin pair for REN is not really much referencing points to take from, because as I said, we didn't have that last bull market. We didn't have a 2018, 2017 bull market on REN. We've only seen bear markets, right? So this is the first bull market, but we do have support at various regions. For those of you who care about the Bitcoin pair, we've got 1,400 sats. We've got 2,100 sats as support in the short term, which I think will probably come back down to as Bitcoin makes its first move. Because remember, guys, as Bitcoin moves upwards in the short term, Bitcoin's going to be leading the market, and hence Bitcoin dominance is probably going to be going up. And so REN, on the Bitcoin pair will be dropping, possibly down to this 2,100 sat region. And then as altcoin season starts to pick up, we'll see a bounce. And that's my kind of prediction. I think we'll go to new all-time highs on the Bitcoin pair. We've got resistance at 3,300, resistance at around 5,000 sats as well. But, not really anything notable. I do like to look at the Bitcoin pair on occasion, but, I get a better idea looking at the USD pair, but it is nice to look at it because it gives you an idea of how they're performing against BTC, which is actually what matters if you're going to follow my investing mindset, which is essentially the only thing you need to worry about is stacking sats, right? And you use that, through investing in altcoins and then flipping it back into Bitcoin. That's my personal investing strategy, right? So what we can see as well is we have a double bottom on here as well. So that would suggest that we're going to be going up from here. But corrections are always to be expected, right? Just because it looks like we're going to be going up straight in a straight line doesn't mean we're going to not correct, right? We could see a very sharp correction, but that happens very quickly, and it still lines up with what we're going to be seeing, upwards momentum. And that's kind of what I'm expecting for REN on the daily chart, right? The trend is still upwards, right? The trend is very clearly still upwards, but I'm expecting a correction in the short term, lasting no longer than a month, right? No longer than a month of correction to sideways movements before moving upwards. And even though I think REN's going to go up, and we'll get into the price prediction now, so I think the price prediction for REN in this bull market, some of you might call this conservative, but I'm a conservative investor. The price prediction for REN in this bull market is 5 USD. All right, and that's not just a random number that, I've just gotten out of nowhere. That's actually looking into what's happened earlier in the year. Right, it's looking into this fractal as well. This fractal kind of suggests 5 USD. I know it's not a perfect fractal, it can't be exact, but it kind of goes into that region. And what we can actually see is REN reached around 2 USD when Bitcoin reached 64K. My price prediction for Bitcoin is around 113K, right, for the end of the cycle. Hence, that's, just under a 2x, and I did the calculations on this before the video, did the math, and you know, assuming REN outperforms Bitcoin by 50%, which is what altcoins typically do, REN's going to go to around 5 USD by the end of the cycle, right? And the fractal supports that, so that's a little bit more evidence. In the short term, what we need to be worrying about on REN, and not necessarily in the short term, but in general, is we have on the weekly chart a pretty strong RSI resistance at 92, right? We're very far away from that right now. We're at 68. We've still got, you know, a couple months before we need to start worrying about that. But historically, we have rejected from that region quite harshly and has led to pretty harsh corrections. If we bring up the log chart, we can see that a little bit better. We can see that we rejected from 92 back here in 2019, and we corrected from that point around 80%. Okay, that's a big correction. We rejected from 92 on 24th of August last year. We rejected 73%. That's a big correction. And, you know, if we see that again, and actually one more, sorry, we had one earlier this year, and we rejected around 85%. So we're seeing 85% from that region, you know, consistently. So I think that when we hit 92 on the RSI, on the weekly chart, that would probably be the signal that the bull market is over for REN, right? Because 85% drops are, you know, very indicative of bear markets, right? You're not going to see an 85% drop and then, you know, keep going up. Doesn't happen, right? If you see an 85% drop, it's dead, right? At least for 3 years, at least for however long it is until the next bull market, right? 85 drops are detrimental. They're big drops, right? That signifies mass panic within the market, to the point where it's probably not going to be recoverable for a little while. So keep an eye on the RSI. If you're going to invest in REN, keep an eye on the RSI in the weekly. 92 is where you need to be looking at. When it gets close to that region, I'd highly recommend, obviously this isn't financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would highly recommend, and if I was in your shoes, I would definitely be selling all of my REN before we reach 92 on the weekly RSI. Even when we reach like 85, 86, I'd be looking to get out, because, you know, you don't want to leave it until the last minute, because if you get caught off guard, guys, if it drops before you think it's going to drop, right, even slightly before, the market tanks 30% in 24 hours, you can't log on to exchanges because they're, you know, backed up with requests. And, you know, you're just going to have to sit there and watch your money go down, right? That's not what you want to see, right? So in summary, in you know, the key points from this video, I guess you could say, short term on REN, you know, I think we'll go a little bit higher to $1.40. We can see that's probably around 20% away, so a little bit higher to $1.40. And then ultimately, I think we're going to correct for a little bit and then break out to the upside. Ultimately, I think there's probably better coins to get into at this point in time that haven't actually gone up yet, you know, i.e. the Dino coins, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, EOS, etc. Even Dent's looking okay, Wanchain's looking okay. All of those coins are looking good. RLC, it's another one. You know, those coins are still on the ground, right? It's not the worst thing to do. You're still going to make, you know, in my opinion, my personal opinion, you're still going to make money, right? You're still going to make money. You're just probably not going to make as much as you would if you invested in coins that are further on the ground. But, you know, if you really like Dent, that's your decision. Do what you want. Not financial advice, obviously. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.